What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another video at New Biology Clinic. As we're talking about the right movement or the perfect movement for what it is that we need to do for our body and what our limitations are or our injuries, etc. We just did a video on that. Now we're going to do a video on the question that also gets asked is how many repetitions is good for me? How many repetitions should I do, Pat, in order to fulfill, this workout or feel achieved or feel like I've got this? And this one is a loaded question as well because there's a lot of factors that come into it. But the short answer, and this might seem like a cop out, but I will explain. The short answer is as many as you think you can do, or you feel you can at least feel comfortable trying. And you'd be like, that doesn't give me anything. The reality is that when I work with people, especially people who've never done this before, or they're getting used to it, or they're coming off an injury, or they're coming off certain habits and ways of training that have gotten them injured, or whatever it is, what we have to do is that I have to know, can you feel what we're trying to do? Because it doesn't matter what the repetitions are, if you're not feeling what we're trying to do, we're actually putting you in more of a vulnerable position situation. So if I get somebody who comes in and says, "Hey, I want to do this movement that you have me doing," and you say, "How, okay, cool. Can you feel this? Can you feel that?" Yes, I feel all that. Yes, feels really good. Cool. Let's see how many you can try to do and stay in that. Let's aim for, I might say 8 to 12. Now you'll hear me say 8, 10, 8 to 12 because it's not because anything other than I just want to see how you do with time under tension. If I had it my own way, and most people I know could be in the right mindset, I would just have you hold it. If it was me personally, I would just have people hold it every single day, every single time. Just hold it, stay in it. That will let me know how much time under tension you can really live in. Because when you do a repetition of something, there's going to be a point where there's a rest point, right? So when I go, like, say I do a lunge, when I go down, increase in tension. If I go up, it takes the tension out. If I'm focusing on where I'm putting it, which is my front leg and that glute or the whole leg. So if I go down and I stay there, now I'm just under that time under tension. I don't get a rest at the top before I go back down. Most people can't, it's very hard for them, and we'll see very quickly how little time under tension they can handle. Now, if someone's more along, I might say, hey, I will have you just hold it so I can see how do you endure the stress? How do you handle this input? Do you start fiddling? Do you start doing all sorts of movements? Do you try to get out of it? Are you talking? Are you, shifting all your weight? Are you clenching? What are we doing? So this helps me see when I say like 8 to 12 is that little bit of rest in between just lets us see, okay, this is a bit of time under tension. Now, some people can't even do 8 to 12. So I would say, hey, for you, 3 to 5 might be the best. Now, most people in the fitness industry will look at the parameters of movements and rep counts and set counts and look at the science and say, well, look, if you do 3 sets of 10, you're going to be building hypertrophy. If you do, you know, 2 sets of 20 to 30 repetitions or 15 reps to 30 reps, you're building muscular endurance. If you're doing, 5 sets of five, you're building strength. And if you do like powerlifting, you're building, power. Like you're more than just muscle mass, you're building absolute explosiveness. And the reality that I've come to realize is that that does work, but it always goes back to how do those reps look? How do those sets look? If someone just says, I did a 5 by 5, or I did 3 sets of 10, or 2 sets of 15, if the form is off, did they really do the sets? If they didn't feel it where they want to, did they really accomplish the reps and set mount? Because I've had people go, oh, I do 3 sets of 10 of this movement. And then I have them do it. And I said, when did you feel it? Did you feel it in the area you're trying to? Yeah, but I really didn't feel it till like the later on. If I go heavier though, I feel it maybe in my shoulder. And so I just stay at this weight. Okay, so heavier hurts. The weight you do use, you don't really feel it until later on in the set or the reps. So are we actually doing ourselves adjust this by staying within that rapid set count. Because that I will then have maybe adjustments and move people in a way or make subtle changes and help them get into a position where they might go, oh my gosh, I can't do 10 of these. After like three, I'm like, wow, that was a lot. That was tough. Are you in pain? No, I'm fine. That was just really hard. I can't do at the weight I usually do 10 reps, I can only do about four. So it goes to show us that those four were way more effective than the 10. So this is why when people work with me, they'll say, how many reps can I do? What should be the normal? And I say, again, it depends on what you can and can't do. If you can do this with body weight, say you can only do four, then do four. I'd rather you do quality over quantity every time. Because with quality comes foundation, comes focus, comes that hyper aware of our present moment. And then we can build the quantity. We can build out the repetitions. We can build the endurance. We can build the strength. But by us doing the right an amount that we know we can maintain presentness, that's going to allow the floor of this house to be sound, to be structurally sound. And that's what we're always trying to achieve, at least with working with me, is that are we financially sound? Now, sometimes that might mean standing on one leg. That might mean doing some bouncing, really trying to connect the body. That might mean doing kind of fast motions. That might mean slow motion. It might be us doing, 50 reps of just moving the wrist. It just depends. Can you maintain awareness? Yeah, but I feel like I'm not doing anything. Well, you before could barely move your wrist, and now you're getting a fuller range of motion. So to say we're not doing anything, this is where people get in their mind is they go, yeah, but I'm not feeling like sweating, or I'm not working out, or I feel like I've hardly done anything. But we have to look at where you were and where you're going. And if you see somebody doing a range of motion that they couldn't do before, or you feel you couldn't do before, or you're able to do something with a stability you didn't know you had, or you didn't once have as at your disposal, well, now what starts to happen is you start to see that progression doesn't always have to beat the crap out of you. It doesn't have to be the worst thing. It doesn't have to be following the same parameters every single time. It has to be tailored to you. So when you talk about reps, you talk about sets, everybody is different. Yes, just like a 5 by 5, 5 sets of five, can that challenge you and get you stronger? 100%. But I also know that running around and jumping around and being, springing through your legs and really strong in that those feet and the fascia can also build a lot of power and strength too. That doesn't need to be a 5 by 5. It's like a soccer player. They have strong legs. They're running around. They're explosive. There's a lot of power. To say they don't have strong legs, I would disagree. Some people say, well, that's a different type of strong. They can't maybe squat or deadlift X amount of pounds. It's like, yeah, but they can also run and sprint and cut corners and be really strong on their feet and be super agile and super powerful with their kick that maybe somebody who just lifts and does 5 by 5s can't do. So it all depends on what you're trying to accomplish. So we have to look at all these different parameters when it comes to what it is that you're looking for. So when you ask me or anyone asks me what's the right amount of reps and sets I should do, I have to look at much bigger picture. We got to look at a whole picture, and then we have to look at the context of each and every moment. And so if this is something that you tend to ask yourself, ask your trainer, ask a family member, whatever, whoever, I ask you, how many of those movements can you do with full awareness and putting it exactly where you want in your body and maintaining that and controlling that? How many reps does that look like? How many sets does that look like for you? How slow and controlled can you get? How explosive can you get while then recovering and being ready to go again, stable, strong? Just depends on what you're doing. So I would say try there, make some notes, start writing it down. You might have to be humbled by how many you actually can do, controlled, right? So these are the things that we want to make sure we keep in our mind when we're training. We got to keep in mind when we're working with other people, and ultimately just for our longevity, making sure we keep ourselves safe in the body, listening to the body's communications, its inputs, its outputs, etc. So On that, hope to see you all at newbiologyclinic.com. I will be holding many more classes, many more webinars, many more one-on-one sessions if that's something you're also looking for with me. But you can find me at newbiologyclinic.com, and I hope to see you all there. Have a lovely rest of your day. I'll see you all soon. Bye.